Hi, I'm Lewis. I'm a British software developer with a keen interest in game development. Over the last few months I've been working on some small games, and recently I've decided to record my development progress. So come join me as I create new games and develop features for my game engine. This video is the second devlog for the tower defense game I'm working on. My first week of progress was great, however when I was creating the devlog I realised the project has some problems. First of all, the project has no name. All we really know about it is it's a tower defense game. Secondly, I wasn't clear on my development aims and my current development progress. And my last big issue with it was there was a lot of old cluttered code from previous projects lying about. So today I'm going to have a look at fixing those issues. First things first, I've decided on a name for the game. So welcome to the Project Torrim devlog. The game theme stems from a random game name generator which told me to create an unholy yak siege. This is why my enemies are yaks and the towers are monks. My second objective is to create a clear development path for the game. I want to split the project into stages. The first stage will be the minimum viable product, which is when I can say it's a tower defense game. The next stage is a minimum marketable product, which is when I can say it's a detailed tower defense game. And the last stage is a nice to have product, which is when I can hopefully say it's an interesting tower defense game. So I'll get to work on creating tasks for each of these stages. I've just finished my first draft of organising my trailer board. As you can see, I have set out the MVP stage at the start, the MMP stage after that, and the NTH stage at the end. This means I can follow a simple process, moving tasks from right to left and finishing sets of stages before moving on to other work. This week I'll be looking at the MVP level task set. This means I'll be creating the simplest tower defense level with a fortress to defend, a layout for enemies to follow, a small variety of towers and enemies. I shall finish off today with my final objective, a code clear out. This came up through a bad habit I got into at the end of development processes. I would try to quickly implement a feature but later comment it out as I wanted to improve on the implementation. However, that's something I never actually got around to, so I might as well just delete them. Today I'm going to be working on my first MVP task, creating the fortress under attack. I'll be doing this by creating a sprite for the fortress, giving the fortress health, making it take damage, and getting rid of the enemies that damage it. So let's start with creating the sprite. This is the fortress sprite I've come up with. It's a bit of a mix between a church and a castle. It has these two large towers and a drawbridge at the front, as well as big stained glass windows all around. I'm happy with the sprite, especially with this little pattern on the roof. I'm going to move on and get this into game. Implementing health and damage to this fortress turned out to be quite easy. I have a fortress class that has a health parameter, and I have a collision event with the enemy class, which will remove the enemy health from the fortress health and dispose of the enemy. I quite like this since the more damage caused to an enemy means the less damage to the fortress, so it really gives you an incentive to do as much damage as possible and doesn't punish you too hard for almost killing an enemy. Once the fortress's health is less than 0, it will be disposed of. I shall look into adding a game fail condition here in the future. It's Wednesday, and today's task is to create a level layout. I'll be doing this by creating a background image, a path image, and putting the path into the game itself. So let's start off with the background. This is the background image I've created. It's a tileable murky swamp water that I'll be able to put in the background of all my levels. Next I'll be making a path through this water. This is the path I've created. I think it's a reasonable size and will give the enemies a good amount of time before getting to the fortress. I'm going to see if I can get the path in game and the enemies walking along it. The path is in game and has come out looking really nice. All the yaks follow around the path exactly how I wanted, and I'm pleased with this progress. Although I must admit I'm not too keen on the background, so depending on how I feel tomorrow I may adjust it. I've just woken up and I have decided that the background I made yesterday wasn't right for the game. It's a great tileable texture for a 3D game, but not a good background for a 2D game, so I'm going to spend my morning creating something more suitable. Just finished my background and I'm happy with the results. It looks so much more like a swamp than the original background. There's a small tileable ground texture, large blocks of colour for the murky waters, and a few small decorations that I added, such as this bush, this rock, and this bubble. This background puts me in a much better position to create a tile set later on in development, which in turn means I'll find it easier to create a bigger variety of levels than before. It's Friday, the last development day in my week. I'll be looking at this tower task. In the future I want there to be a variety of towers, so today I'll be laying down the groundwork to create different types of towers. The first step into creating a new tower is a new sprite, so I'll catch up when I have that sorted. This is my new monk. It has a more Eastern Buddhist theme than the last, and you'll notice this sprite has 4 directions because it isn't as symmetrical as the previous monk, which I'm now calling the Friar. The next step is to get this in game and create some different mechanics for it. When we load the game now, you'll notice there are 2 tower buttons. An orange one spawns the monk, which has a small watch area, a fast firing speed, and fires an additional projectile in the complete opposite direction. The grey button spawns the friar, which has a large range but a slow firing speed. I think this is great, and it really lays down the idea that I can have a variety of different towers in my game. This week has been great. I've organised the project well and I've made some good progress with my MVP tasks. The game has gone from having an enemy that can follow a path and a tower that can fire at the enemy, to having a fortress to protect, a detailed level layout, and multiple towers to use. I probably would have liked to have finished off all the MVP level tasks, however I didn't get time to get around to creating a different type of enemy. So it'll be the first thing I do next week before I start looking at the tower buying tasks. Thanks for watching this video. I'm having a blast recording my development on Project Torrim. If you enjoyed watching, leave the video a like, and if you want to see more progress with Project Torrim, then subscribe to my channel. Thank you and goodbye.